Please subscribe before watching the movie. Welcome back to Movies Recapped. Today I am going to explain a movie romance film released in the year 2005. Before starting the film, the movie begins with a 22-year-old boy named David. He is a painter. After that, we see a woman named Jaffe. She is depressed because of her divorce. She was married for 9 years and suddenly her husband divorced her, and that's why she couldn't focus on anything. The next day, Rai goes to meet a therapist named, and she tells her everything about her life. Rai says that she was a good wife who never did anything wrong for 9 years, and suddenly her husband left her without any reason. And then Lisa tells her that she should not think about her past and has moved on. On the other hand, David goes to his ex-girlfriend's house with a cake because she cheated on him, and now they want to take revenge by throwing the cake at her face. And after a while, when they meet the girl, they take their revenge and runs away. Later at night, David goes to watch a movie with and through some friends David meets Rai. They start talking, and somewhere inside they feel attracted because Rai was depressed and wanted to move on in her life. And on the other hand, David couldn't control himself. And after some time they watch a movie. Later when David comes home, he can't stop thinking about Rai, and that's why David called Rai after thinking for a while. However, he gets scared and he doesn't say anything when she picks up the call. Meanwhile, Rai understands that David is calling her because she could see in his eyes that he wanted to talk to her, and that's why when he called the second time, she made him comfortable and asked him why he called. Somehow they would tell her that he wants to go on a date with her and wants to spend some time with her. When Rai hears that, she is already impressed with him, so she agrees to go on a date. The following day, David and Rai have a date, and after dinner they go to garden while walking, and in the garden they start talking and telling each other about their interests while talking. They come close and start. The next day, Rai goes to a therapist and tells her that she met a boy. She further tells her that he kissed her yesterday, and somehow she controlled herself because she met him for the second time. And when Lisa sees Rai happy, she understands that she needs someone in her life. So she tells her that she should have a relationship with David, and Rai was happy to hear that. And she continues her relationship with David. After some time at home, David comes to meet Raffi and they talk for a while. After some time they get. Later in the day when David goes home, he meets his mother, and to our surprise, she is no one else but Lisa. However, none of them knows about each other's relationships. Later, David and Raffi come closer and spend most of their time together. They get intimate and have a great time together. And when Raffi meets her therapist, she tells him something new about her boyfriend. Daily Rai also tells her about intimacy and how she enjoys spending time with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, in the beginning, Lisa couldn't understand that she was talking about her son, David. However, when Rai tells her more about David, she starts doubting that she might be dating her son, and when finally she understands everything, she starts getting depressed because son is young and Rai is a divorced woman. That's why she goes to meet her. When she tells her therapist about David and Rai, Lisa's therapist explained that David was young and he would forget about Rai after a few days. So she shouldn't be worried about them and she should focus on her work after some time. David brings Rai to the art gallery where he keeps all his paintings. She gets impressed by his work. After that, they have dinner and talk for a while, and while talking they come close and get intimate. The next day, Rai goes to meet her therapist and tells her about her fantas. She tells her about her freight, and she also tells him how David got intimate with her. She tells him some really weird things while Lisa is listening in shock because Rai is talking about her son, and Lisa is pretending as if nothing happened because she doesn't want it to reveal her identity. She listens to Rai later. After 7 days at home, David is packing his clothes when his mother comes and asks him where he's going. David replies that he's going on a trip with his friends, and later Ravi comes to meet her therapist and tells her he won't be able to come for her therapy sessions because she is going on a trip with her boyfriend, and she further says that she will tell her all things that she does on the trip. When Lisa hears that, she is shocked that David lied to her. However, she couldn't say anything, so she didn't react. Later, after some time, David and Ravi go on a trip, and when they reach there at a hotel, they instantly get intimate. After spending some days, David gets tired of Rai and doesn't want to get intimate with her. And Raffi couldn't understand anything. When David tries to ignore her, she realizes that he isn't interested in her anymore. After some time, David starts losing interest in Raffi. Meanwhile, she starts wondering what she is doing because David is younger than her and he doesn't have a job, and she starts thinking about her future. Later when the trip ends, they come back home. The next day, Rai goes to meet her therapist and she tells her about David. She talks badly about David, and when Lisa hears that, she gets angry and reveals her. Lisa tells Rai that David is her son, and at that moment Rai gets shocked. When she heard that, she starts thinking about why her therapist didn't tell her about David, and she told her so many private things about David and she would always listen with interest. Rai couldn't even look her therapist in the eyes, and when she leaves, Lisa calls her son David and tells her everything about Rafi. When David hears that, he gets angry with his mother and tells her that if she knew, why didn't she tell? Why did she let Rai tell her all the stories about their intimacy? After that, David goes to meet Rai and in anger he breaks up with her. However, when he realizes that he made a mistake at night, David again goes to meet Rai and apologizes for his behavior and tells her that he wants to be in a relationship with him. Meanwhile, Rai doesn't want to be in a relationship with her. She breaks her relationship with him and left. On the other hand, Lisa was depressed, and to meet her therapist after some time, David goes to a party with his. And then he meets a girl and they start talking and get intimate in the morning. When they woke up, David asked the girl about her name and to his surprise, he found out that she works at Rai's office. After some days, when David goes to the supermarket, he accidentally meets Rai, and when they start talking, he can't control it and go home and get intimate. After that, once again, they get into a relationship later. David brought Rai to meet his family, and because Lisa already knew about Rai, she didn't like her. However, she accepts Rafi for the sake of her son, and when everything is about to get better, Rai finds out that David had spent a night with one of her co-workers, so she goes to meet David for confirmation. He couldn't say anything because he made a mistake, and that's why Rafi gets sad and leaves. Meanwhile, David was upset because of his mistake. That's why he asked his mother for help, and his mother tells him that Rafi works as a motivation for him, and he has been happy since she has come into his life and that he has been more focused on his. Lisa explained to him that he should apologize to Rai and never let her go. After that, David went to meet Rai to apologize. However, she had made up her mind and could see the future. She understood that David was young and the relationship could never work out. Rai tells David that he should focus on his career because he's young and he can't just get married and have kids because she is 14 years older than him and she can never live happily together. She had made up her mind and she broke up with. Meanwhile, David can't say anything, so he leaves. After 1 year, David sees Rafi in a restaurant and they look at each other and smile. At that moment, David understood that Rafi had made the right decision for both of them that day. With that, the movie ends here. Thank you for watching the video, like, share, and subscribe for more. See you next time.